You look like you're still waking up.
Pappy, stay in the bed.
That's right. Cassie, stay in the bed. What's up, fellow journeyers? So we bought this Grand Design fifth wheel 1 year ago.
This is our home.
This is our home!
Hoping to be able to get some of the perks of a house and yet still have wheels on that house to have an adventure as a family. But is that realistic to buy an RV with the hope and expectations of it feeling like a home? Or is this just a giant mess to even expect something like this fifth wheel to fill those giant shoes of having a house? So when it comes to house versus RV, you've really only got one limitation when it comes to a house. If you've got enough money, you can make it happen with a house. Now when it comes to an RV, you've still got the limitation of money, but really it doesn't matter how much money you have. You have a limitation of space, and you have a limitation of weight. So really it's very difficult, almost impossible, to get everything you could possibly want in a house in an RV because of these additional limitations. And that's why in a house, you can just make a list of what you want, right? And like if you have enough money, you can knock out that list or you can build it yourself. And then when it comes to an RV, it's like you have two lists. You have this must-have list like you would have with a house. And then you've got this second list, that is the nice to have. So things that could or could not be limited based on, again, money, space, and weight.
Don't judge me right now. This is the only way I can get JJ to eat vegetables is to get these muffins that have vegetables. I don't want him to hear me. Have vegetables cooked in them.
No poo-poo in the shower.
Where do we poo-poo?
In the pod.
That's right. High five. What's our favorite one he says?
No poo-poo in the volcano. No poo-poo volcano.
He's full of wisdom. We're going through potty training, so there's a lot of that talk in our house.
Now we realistically know we cannot possibly replace a house with our RV and get everything that's on that list. But in the last year, how close, or has this RV even come close to our expectations as far as replacing a house with a house on wheels?
What does a camel say?
This is what camels sound like.
That's a camel!
Yeah, so that's a good start for one of the things that's been tough in this RV. It's like having our own spaces. And I think because we made the choice to have a larger living room, kitchen area, because the mid-bunk is smaller overall, we just have this one tiny table, which we could do school on this, but it seems like it almost always has something on it.
Look up! What's the camel say? Look up!
He's done. The camel was pretty funny.
Hey Google, what does a camel say?
Here's a camel.
And so like the kids' toys gravitate in here. We do a lot of our homeschooling in here as well. What are you gonna color pink? You gonna color the alligator pink?
Oh, no.
Okay.
What about his tongue? We could color his tongue pink.
No.
No?
What
I'm
about
gonna give you
pink
this
eye?
quarter.
I give you all those choices and you want the pink eyes?
Let's imagine that Hensley and I have a debate going on. We're doing homophone practice. This week's homophone, which makes complete sense to me, is whale and whale. But Hensley says those are not homophones. But
Whale
I do
and
not
whale.
I do not hear a difference.
Apparently whoever wrote this has a southern accent, I guess. Are they saying it's a homophone?
I mean, whale and whale. It's the same word.
Say these two words, Marissa.
Whale and whale.
Yeah, that does sound like a homophone. Now you say them, Hensley. Say those two words.
Whale and well.
Say it again.
Whale and well.
There you go.
No, they sound the same.
No, they do not. Like we don't really have our own spaces, and we're always shuffling around and juggling with each other and moving around and bumping into each other. And I think this layout, either you're kind of like stretched out and have your own space in here, which is great, or over time everybody gradually moves into here, and what seems like a large space can become a small space.
No.
More shuffling.
Oh, no.
They can't get their schoolwork done.
Bed. It's up in the bed.
Up in the bed, you got another book?
Okay, up in the bed.
I'm a penguin. I can turn my head. Can you do it?
No.
No.
This is a camel.
You just want to go to the camel? What's a camel say?
Good job, camel.
Tell me your thoughts on the shower.
I'm pro showers.
That's not what I meant. Like, we still have not figured out how or why, but the length of hot water in the showers in this RV is just baffling.
Nobody else has an issue but us.
I don't know.
So
I don't
maybe
know what we're doing
just
wrong.
super clean people.
Yeah, depending on the temperature outside, depending on who's taking the shower and how hot they have it turned up, you're looking at probably like anywhere from 6 minutes to maybe 10 if you really squeeze it out. If it's a warm day outside, you don't have the heat cranked. Now, all these windows seem like a good idea, but there are 2 glaring downsides we found out with having these large windows in the living room and kitchen space. Number one is that even though these are dual pane, so this is gonna be better than the norm, they're giant windows. And instead of having like 3+ inch insulation here as far as thickness to keep the heat out or the cold out, you've got these 2 pieces of glass right here. And so although temperature control is not terrible inside this RV, it is definitely tougher because we can compare it directly to like our open range and our motorhome and things like that that had very few or small windows. And it was super easy to keep the area cool, to keep the area warm, to not worry about the outside temperature coming in so much. And another downside of this RV is right here. A lot of RVs, our open range included, had cabinets on this upper area. And with those cabinets, you get probably 20+% more storage in this huge living room, kitchen area in our RV. Now, because we chose to have a layout that has like, I don't know, 40+% of the length dedicated to the kitchen and living room, that means the mid-bunk area is actually smaller, way smaller actually, than our open range mid-bunk area. Again, showing the kid stuff gravitating into that area. The kid stuff seems to gravitate out of that mid-bunk area more than it gravitated out of that large bunk area we had in the open range. And then because the living room and kitchen area is such a large area that's got a lot of traffic, and being so far from that rear axle over there, we had to supplement the back of the RV. Something like this Valterra, because the shake in the back is so bad being a rear living. It's actually pretty amazing how much movement takes place toward the rear of the RV in that living room and kitchen area. JJ's getting up from his nap. Hey buddy. Kind of a rough one there, huh? So this layout gave us 2 different sleeping spaces. Versus face, this is not clean.
You didn't make your bed today?
No.
So we've got, of course, JJ's bed underneath, and then we get the loft up top. Now in a perfect world, yeah, I think we're like, well, she'll sleep up here, JJ will sleep there. In the living room, kitchen, if we have people over, if we're talking or whatever. Watch movies, yeah. Turns out this is kind of pretty open. So downside number 1 is that even if we're like doing the dishes in the kitchen living room, like it can be heard here. It doesn't always wake her up, doesn't always keep her up. I don't know what we're, anyways, it is what it is. Downside number 2 though, you can still barely do it. She's gonna outgrow this pretty fast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a pretty cool space though. You hear how loud that is? Isn't it?
Sorry.
Plus Marissa's like not your quietest. The cool thing is she's got like her own space. It's a lot of room. What all you got up here, girl?
A lot.
A lot? You've even got like your own Christmas tree, huh? Do you like it, or do you wish you were in the mid-bunk underneath?
I like it.
You like it? Okay. She can still sit up. Barely. She's 7. You know, I think once she gets to that point where she can't sit up anymore, we still have plan B of swapping her and JJ, and then we're looking at, I don't know, some way to put a gate here and all that. But something to consider if you got bigger kids and they want to sit up in their bed. You bumping your head? So for all the cons I've mentioned about this RV, you might be thinking, well, that's why they almost bought a house. But that's actually not the whole story.
In 2019, we came to a crossroad as a family. We had went to Alaska and came home with our Alaskan souvenir, JJ. And at the time, we were currently living in a 30-foot Airstream. We gave it a good go. We tried for 6 months, and we quickly realized, okay, we need more space as a family. And we almost bought a house. Our thought was, okay, we've outgrown RV life. Well, let's get a small house and a small RV, and we can use the small home as a home base, and then we can travel in the RV on the side. But ultimately, we decided we were not ready for our home not to have wheels. We just love the idea that we're able to live comfortably in our home and travel. And so that's when we decided, instead of buying a house, let's find a fifth wheel or a layout that fits our family needs, that feels like a home, that replaces that need for a home we were feeling. And that's when we discovered this Grand Design fifth wheel mid-bunk layout.
Our fear and part of our hesitation with an RV this size was that we wouldn't be able to go anywhere because we've been in the 30-foot Airstream. And it is more difficult, but ultimately we've been in this RV for a year and we have been some really awesome places. Everywhere from like Curry Hammock in the Florida Keys. We did a Grand Design rally, which is really neat because you get to connect with other people within the same brand. We stayed at Ridgeway State Park, a beautiful view in a valley. We took $1 Million Highway, which is a really strenuous drive with this fifth wheel behind us. Capped off the year by going to the Balloon Fiesta with this rig. Because ultimately there is no perfect RV. And even though this RV is not perfect, as far as like must-haves and nice-to-haves, this RV over any RV we've toured or seen or been in, we've hundreds, maybe even thousands of RVs. For us, for our needs of what we're looking for to make this RV feel like a house or feel like a home, this checks off more of that list, even with the cons, because nothing's perfect, than any other RV we've ever owned. How do you feel this kitchen compares to, we've had a motorhome, Airstream, open range, this one? How does this one compare?
I mean, honestly, this is my favorite kitchen.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
How do I explain it? I mean, it's pretty.
Let's say hypothetically there is one person who wants to know something beyond that, maybe. Like is there anything function-wise with this kitchen?
I think it's got a lot of counter space. I mean, you've got this whole taco bar here. Yes, we've coined the phrase taco bar for it. That's what it's used for.
We don't regret the residential refrigerator either. That extra amount of space has been awesome. Verdict on the televator, we do still love it. This is extra space to lay things. It keeps the TV out of the way so the kids aren't asking for it all day.
Out of sight, out of mind.
With the lithium batteries, it's made up for it. Like, well worth the trade-off with the residential fridge too. It always cracked me up, these home shows where they're like showing people 3 houses to choose or whatever, and they're like, oh, I love this one so much, it's got everything I need, it checks off all my boxes, but look at the paint in the 3rd bedroom. I can't do it. Like, just paint the bedroom. So in an RV, it's kind of like that too. You actually have probably less control over what the decor is, because it could be the same as the decor in thousands of other RVs. And so with this one, there were definitely some things in here that we wanted to change to make our own. But much like the house, don't let, if you look at an RV and you walk in, look past the paint, look past the interior. This is just phase 1 we've completed right now, but we are definitely working on making this space our own. Because the look and feel of where this RV was when we bought it, even though we liked it, we want to make it our own so that we can love it.
We'll get there. That's our motto.
This bedroom is the best bedroom we've ever had. We love the size of the bed. We love the spacing of the bed. Meeting 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay. Meeting.
The meeting space / office space was on the must-have list. But to have this large of a meeting space was not a must-have. This is really, really nice because we can work standing up. If I need to rest, I can pull this out and I can sit on this too. So like super flex. All right, we're already a minute late, right? Let's get in here. Hello.
How are you guys today?
We're good.
Good. How are you?
We're okay with this doubling as a laundry room. It kind of is what it is in an RV. Although this bathroom is not perfect and the shower is not perfect, we know that there are options someday. We're going to get this done. There are options to help us have more hot water for longer periods of time in an RV. This living room kitchen area, even though it can get hectic, even though things do flow into here, we genuinely love this area. Even for their downsides, we both love the amount of light that these windows let in. Yeah, we've lost some storage in here, but it's okay. We're okay with having less storage in order to have more light and for this to feel more open and airy. And although it was a little frustrating and we had to take a window out to do it, we do love this couch in the back. And yes, we did get our second couch in here. And no, we did not have to take the window out to do it. This is from the same company article, and we were able to fit it through the door in order to get it into the living room. And these 2 couches together, man, it's a lot of couch, but we love it. We also love it because we can host people in here. We can actually, when we sit, we can talk, we can hang out. But let's be honest, like even in a house, where are you spending your time in a house? For us, we spent 90% of our waking hours in the house on one couch in the living room. So pushing the space from the RV into this room, it's just made the most sense for us. So my favorite spot, I'd say, is over here in this corner over here. But Marissa says her favorite spot is over here on this side of the couch.
I guess it works out that we both have our favorite perch. I I personally like this spot. I can see the fireplace and watch the sunset. And this just has been a really pivotal room for us because we do spend so much time here as a family. We're feeling like we're in nature with all of these large windows seeing outside.
In the open range, I mean, you couldn't even do this. There wasn't a seat in the open range, really, that you could sit in and you could watch what was going on outside. I mean, this is just our home base right now. So we had an awesome first year in this RV. We have gone some incredible places. We've created a custom playlist for you guys for our favorite places we went in 2021 with this RV. Everything from Curry Hammock in Florida, which we'll never get into again. We did Ridgeway State Park. We loved being in that valley. We did the $1 Million Highway right after Ridgeway. Grand Design Raley, if you're looking for a community of what you could do with an RV like this with a Grand Design. And then we wrap it up in the playlist with the Balloon Fiesta. Is it really fair to compare a house to an RV? The limitations are different, so probably not. But look for the RV with the best layout you have. Know there's going to be pros and cons. And know that
There's give and take.
Give and take. That's Marissa's phrase. I'll catch you guys later.
What is that, JJ?
What is that?
Well.
It's a whale and a whale.
No, it's a whale in a well.
A whale? A whale?
Yeah, there it is. Water.
It's called a whale?
Whale. It almost sounds like you have an accent, but you don't.
It's a whale.
No, it's a whale. A well is what you get water out of.
I don't hear the difference. It's a whale and a whale. I don't understand.
No.